So we're going to ask you a couple questions, just kind of explaining how your experience has been working with us. You've been with us now for quite a while, so we chose you because you've been working really hard, showing a lot of really great results, but more importantly, you've been sticking around with us for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So just treat this like a conversation, so you don't have to
Sure.
make it any more pressure than it already is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What made you decide to start training, and what goals did you have when you joined?
Well, I was retiring from 30 plus years in education, and in that job, it was very, very hard to find the time to take care of yourself. And so I made a commitment when I retired that I would focus on my health first. And then I went back to work, but everything has been worked around that. So that's first priority in what I do every day to schedule my workouts and my training. I did it mainly because I wasn't happy with my quality of life. I felt like that I wasn't taking care of myself. I've always been an active person, so I'm not a napper or anything like that. I'm not a person that kind of is going to sit around. But sometimes you can mistake that with being healthy, and I wasn't, particularly in strength. And so I read a bunch of things, and the things that I kept seeing was imports of strength training. And so a colleague of mine had been training here and told me about it, and I went and met with y'all, and I was kind of sold immediately. And I knew I needed one-on-one because I needed somebody to tell me exactly how to do something. So as a mid-50s person, I don't want to hurt myself and necessarily, and I thought it was really important to do things right. And so my goal was to be healthy, number one. Number two was to, of course, lose weight and to be stronger. But the big focus was health, and all the things have kind of have come along with that. So nutrition was a factor of everything that y'all offer.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. What frustrations, challenges, or obstacles were you dealing with before you started coming to us?
Getting hurt for really ridiculous reasons. When you get old, a lot of people will sit around and talk about silly ways they get hurt, or you wake up with a pain, you have no idea why you're hurting, and it's kind of nearly becomes acceptable and so I would do that. I would hurt myself working out in the yard or playing or doing whatever, acting like I was a kid again, playing pickleball or soccer or tennis or whatever, and I would hurt, and it just didn't make any sense to me that that was an acceptable way to live life. And so that was something really important. A friend of mine, Todd Withorn, who does a lot of work with health, talks about rounding off the curve of living a real full life and then just dropping dead, which sounds negative, but when he says drop dead, he's talking about 90-something, not a slow decline into obsolescence. And so it was really important to me to focus on that and that help part.
Yeah. It's good that you saw that you needed to make a change. A lot of
Yes.
people struggle to do that, so it's really good that you
Yes.
saw that you needed to make one, and then you've been really, really well ever since. So
Yeah. Thank you.
what parts of the program, coaching, or support have helped you the most?
I think consistency. So I don't know. We all have our strengths and what we know about, and this is an area that I don't have strength or knowledge. And so working with you specifically, I just come in here, I have no idea what I'm going to do from day to day, but you do, and because you base it on what I need. So if I did it in a home gym, I would do what I'd like to do, what I want to do, and then when I get tired, I may stop. But here, that's not an option unless I need to for health reasons. So the ability to modify the training around that has been really, really important for me because, and you've explained that to me from week to week. We're focusing on this. Now we're moving into this. Everything's done in cycles, and I see it working. So it's something I actually don't have to worry about. I need to worry about that I have all the energy and I come prepared. I'm hydrated and eating right and all those kinds of things, but I don't have to worry about what plan I need to, and that's what I'm getting from y'all. Plus, you have really good equipment, and so in the gym, I like the gym environment here. Every gym has its own culture and environment, and this is a really good match for me, for people who are real serious about what they're doing, but not too serious that they're unapproachable. So just people are very, very friendly and nice and easygoing, which I like.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
What habits or changes have made the biggest difference for you?
Well, I would say nutrition is, for me to lose weight previously, and I'd lost a lot of weight several years ago, and I did it through controlling sugar, but also limiting carbs. And that was the weirdest thing for me to hear is that I need more carbs. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
More carbs. I thought I was supposed to eat carbs. And to make that adjustment on nutrition and really looking at the full plan of what I'm doing in terms of protein and fat. People talk about fat all the time, but protein, what does that actually mean? How does it approach the diet? But also the carbs, and so how to eat in preparation for a workout, coming prepared, in that way. That was really helpful. On the other side, just the knowledge of what to do, and particularly in stretching and things that I needed to do to stay, not just show up the times I come into training and go, this is supposed to do everything. Of course not. I need to stretch every day, take care of myself every day, but not duplicate efforts that you're using. Like I don't need to go work out at home after I work out here. That's not, but I do need to take care of other things. And so I've developed different habits that have now just become normal of what I do. That I don't even think about it anymore. And at first it was very weird, to think about those things. And now I just don't think about them.
That's
I
good.
just do them
That's good. Now it's
automatically.
more like instinct.
Yeah.
Instinct, yeah.
And the result is I feel good.
Yeah.
So there's a natural thing. It's not like I'm withholding something from my body. I'm giving something to my body. So something like as easy as making sure I manage my protein and things like that. At first it was like, oh my goodness, I'm not eating enough protein. Would you tell me that? But then after I'd feel better, and I'd feel better the next day, and then that really kind of made me want to do it more.
Is there any like habit in particular that you're doing now that you weren't doing before that you've seen a big difference in?
Yeah, okay, well, on nutrition, the plan that you put together to show the balances is thinking through my meals. So today I had an appointment in the morning that kind of threw me off because it was a doctor's appointment and I had to do blood work. And so I couldn't eat beforehand. So I had already thought about what I was going to have afterwards and what I was going to have after that and preparing for this since it's a midday workout. And so I didn't think about those things before on nutrition. I would think about, I'm going to eat this tonight, but not the timing of it, and having enough of things. And on the other side, it probably really has to do a lot with the whole body and exercising areas that I've just not exercised. And literally the body was atrophied because I wasn't doing anything to exercise those muscles. And so those habits have changed because now I'm more likely to use the whole body. I mean, something as simple as, working out in the yard and I'm lifting mulch, I'm going to use my legs differently. You've always heard, don't use your back, use your legs. Well, really, what does that mean? There's a right way to use your legs and there's a not so much right way. And so thinking about that and really limiting injury. So I'm getting hurt less often. Injuries happen, right? But I'm talking about home. But it's really rare, and it's not because of it's just because life, rather than I'm using bad habits. So I've developed different habits.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. A lot of the things that we're doing inside here are making a big difference in your
absolutely.
day-to-day life. And that's the ultimate goal in the end.
Yes.
What results have you seen since joining?
Well, the main thing is that the three areas you got, percentage of fat, muscle, and then your overall weight. The big shift for me at the beginning is I was all about the weight, and you told me from the get-go it may not look that way. And so looking at the whole body and really looking at my fat loss and then also increasing muscle and my weight. And so since I started, I've lost about 17 pounds, which is a good amount, but people can lose 17 pounds in a lot less amount of time. But the difference is I've built a lot of muscle and I've lost fat. And so that has been great because, as you've shared with me, it's going to be harder to lose that muscle because I didn't get that muscle slow. I got it, fast. I got it slow. And so knowing that I'm going to be more resilient in that way and not be more up and down. So what I've seen is, that result is just feeling better. So clothing and clothing fits, a lot is just how I feel. My knees used to click and I thought, I guess that's just the way it is for now. Well, I haven't clicked in months. Over a year probably. That kind of stopped nearly immediately. And you explained to me a lot of that had to do with just the movement of the body and that, how do you put it? I forget. Movement is oil for the joints. I forget what it was, but basically I was, my joints were lubricated because I wasn't using the proper way. So
everything's moving and working on a regular basis now. So it should make everything outside of here a lot easier. It's good. Have you noticed, what have you noticed as far as your clothing? How many, let's say bell loop, for example?
Probably 4 holes in the belt. Every belt is different. But about 4 clothes I couldn't wear. So I'd lost a lot of weight years ago, and I just refused to throw the clothes away. And so I have clothes from different times in my life, and some of them are old fashioned, donate them, but some of them still are nice dress shirts and stuff. Well, I pulled them out, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't think this fit anymore, and it fits.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun to you know, go shopping. You just go shopping in your own closet. But so that has been a big difference how the clothes fit. And of course, I've got a lot of ways to go. I know that. I think where I'm less stressed is that I see the pattern, which is it's going to be kind of low and slow, or steady, but I know it's working. So I don't have an anxiety of like, oh, I need this to happen like right now.
Right.
And I think that's one difference is I'm not stressed about my weight loss because I'm more focused on my health, resulting in better weight.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a different thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Your body's been definitely, it's very noticeable now how different you look compared to when you first walked in. Which is,
Yeah.
So I know it's always good to hear from other people that are noticing, oh my gosh, you look different. You look great, you look healthy. So that's always good to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's the part is healthy. You know, there's times in my job that I had, very stressful job, and people would talk about different jobs. You see the person before and after, and I aged a lot in 14 years. I aged by I was a superintendent for 14 years, as you know. I probably aged 20 years in those 14 years. And when I did the scale, it said what your metabolic age is, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. You're a decade older than I really am. That's not good. And I got it because I can look in the mirror and see it. And so some people have said, you actually look younger. I don't think I look younger. I think I just look healthier.
That's good.
You know, I have a better color in my skin or whatever. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What struggles have you overcome during the process?
Well, I don't know if I've overcome any struggles. I've gotten better at struggles. Not getting despondent when something's not going like I want it to go. So when you feel like you've worked hard and then you look on the scale and you're like, you kidding me? I thought I lost 2 pounds and I gained 1. And it may be because of the muscle and the fat deal. Or sometimes it's just the body kind of plateaus for a while and then resets and goes. And so I've gotten better at not wanting to give up after that. So I guess I wouldn't call that overcome because I really have to continue to tell myself that. Don't get caught up in that. You help with that by reminding me of that. You're kind of affirming what that in my mind. But I think I've continued to struggle there. I do struggle with trusting myself on certain things, and you know, you'll tell me, you know, stop thinking, doing, because I like to think through and understand all I'm doing, and that's still a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, I would say that those are probably the big ones. The other is just kind of, again, along those lines, is trusting myself that it'll work out and just kind of do the work and it'll take care of itself.
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, good work.
Okay.
What has the community, accountability, or environment at the gym meant to you?
Well, I think watching people, because you know, I do it, I'm working individually with you, and so most of my interactions with people are more just kind of just as I visit with people, you know, informally. But what I do see is I see their own progression. We all kind of progress at the same time. I also really appreciate that people are really focused, inner-focused on what they're doing best. And kind of along the same lines, I don't know this, but it seems like people have very, very similar goals. They may have some different weight goals, strength goals, all that, but health seems to be a main factor of what they're doing. And it's not I know there's a lot of different kinds of gyms. This is a gym that I think I describe to people is very accessible to people. You know, if you came in and you're a top performer, you're already there, you can get better. If you're like me, walking in the door that hadn't lifted weights in years and years, or did so, like go out and do bench press one time and go, oh, that hurt, and then I do it again for 3 months. I was welcome too, and kind of accepting people where they're at and taking them where they can go, which I really appreciate because, you know, I'm not gonna say other gyms are like that because I haven't been to enough, but I know there's certain environments that nearly expect you to be already where you should be when you walk in the door, versus don't worry about this, where you're at now.
Yeah.
This is just a baseline. The InBody scale has helped a lot to be able to quantify that and actually see it with numbers.
Yeah.
Because we can say, oh, I think I look better or I don't. I mean, we're our own worst enemies there. The InBody actually tells the real story.
Yeah.
And that has really, really helped to see that in a data way. I'm kind of a data person.
Yeah.
So that's helped me confirm with myself this is working.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's a big deal. Like we want to make sure too that you are seeing those results and you do make that progress over time. Maybe slow a little bit for other people, maybe fast for other people, but the biggest thing is making sure that we're seeing progress and results. So
Yeah.
you do a really good job of being very persistent with what you're doing and how you're doing things. That can definitely help you a ton in the long run because it's going to make you more resilient to things that may happen outside the gym, like, but also while you're inside the gym, so to help keep you pushing through things are a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Or in case something, or if something never goes wrong outside of life, then you have to dial it back in the gym a little bit, maybe because of an injury or anything. You already have that persistence.
Well, I've always been a very disciplined person in my work life, and the coaching I've always given colleagues is a lot of life is getting up every day and just moving and just going, putting one foot in front of the other and working. Most of that has to do with work. It has to do with stuff you're doing. I didn't apply that in this area.
Yeah.
This is an area where I'm like, I gained weight, or it's like everything was external for me.
Right.
And so I think for here, what I was saying earlier, it's helped me realize, okay, I had a bad day, I mean, not that you tell me don't eat pizza, but say I did and I really went overboard. It's like, okay, reset, start today.
Yeah.
And I think that has really helped because it takes I messed up and this means X, Y, and Z, and putting all extra weight and all that stuff to it. Such a negative attitude is turned me into more positive. So what can I control today? Which is the exact same thing I was doing in my professional life. I'm just now applying it here.
Right.
Because I see it, again, it's working. It took time, as you know, the first month or two, it was just like mobility. That was probably the biggest surprise, was that I just couldn't, like, I'm moving right. No, you're not there yet.
Yeah, and it's kind of shocking. It can be shocking at times how well or how not well we move.
Yeah.
When we just try to go do something simple at home, then that's when those small, like you were saying before, those small little injuries come up from doing something at home. That all has to not necessarily do with our strength. It all has to do with how you move and how well you move. And that's why for so long we just focus on just movement, so that number one, outside of here you're moving better, but number two, inside the gym you're able to move more and just make your life easier. So
Yeah, I was talking to somebody that talked about that a lot of the world is a soft world. Everything's air conditioned. I'll go home, leather seats, air conditioning, my seats air conditioned, we're comfortable, go to air conditioned house, all that. And we're all about comfort. And really a lot of research showing now that you need to learn to be just uncomfortable. And I think this is kind of like that. And uncomfort for me, going back to things I struggle with, was like anything that required additional balance, like Bulgarian split squats. I'm like, so that somebody does that, but you're like back there. That really, you do that. That's something people do for an exercise. And then I did it, and then got better at it, and now I feel decently proficient at it. And that was uncomfortable. But I think that's one thing that's really nice is it gives you greater confidence. I can handle harder things because I can do that. So,
yeah, it's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
What would you tell someone who is thinking about joining or starting personal training?
Well, I would say, first of all, it's a commitment. And we all know there's a financial commitment, but then also think about it from how much does it cost to be sick and go to the hospital? And how much does it cost to do a lot of things? I mean, what is your life worth? I have a colleague of mine that does a lot of work in wellness, and he gives you your average, how long the average person lives, and says what's your current age, and it says, okay, with the years that are there, okay, so for men, average age is 74, and so I'm 57. So what are you going to do with those years? What quality of life are you going to have with it? And so I would say to those people is you got to think about quality of life. I did not start this when I was working. My previous job, I'm working now, as you know, and I work a lot. But I would say that if I could go back and tell myself, I would say, what are you doing? Start right now. To figure out a way, start right now. Because it's not something you can put off. And, people say it's never too late. It may not ever be too late, but you may be in such a position physically that it would be really, really hard. And so I would say anybody, they need to really prioritize their health in any way they can. And to also know that it's a commitment and not to go in thinking that you're getting, we have a world of fast, right? They expect they're going to do this and you're going to lose 10 pounds. And I do want to lose weight. I'm just so much more interested in being stronger and being healthier. And that is not something I really ever thought about before. I thought about like second or third, but now I'm thinking about it as first.
Yeah.
And so I would say for people, attitudinally coming into this is not a quick fix, but it's more of a long-term commitment.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one last question, and then we're gonna go get into our workout today.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about coming to Full Strong?
How I feel afterwards.
Yeah.
So today is a conditioning day, and truth be told, I know it's going to be hard, and I have no idea what I'm going to do because I don't want to know because I'll think about it.
Yeah.
But when I get in the car and I leave, even when I'm tired, really, really tired, that's one of my favorite things. The second is results, because we're all in this for results, and all the things I said earlier. And so that's, I trust that this is the way I'm going to get there. And I'm trusting that with, of course, what I pay to be here, but also trusting with my time, which time is very valuable.
Absolutely.
And so I would say I've learned a lot and about being here. This is definitely worth my time and energy and resources to be here to be better.
Final question for sure. Do you wish you would have joined sooner?
1 day sooner, 10 days sooner, 100 days sooner, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you put it off. I had it on the calendar for like 6 months before I
Really?
came. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be here,
Right.
but I knew I was going to start someplace
Yeah.
until I talked to a colleague. But I put it on the calendar, and so it was going to happen. And I actually, accountability is an important part. I told people, it's going to sound funny, I said, if you see me in 6 months after retirement and I look exactly the same, you just go up to me and call me a liar. Okay? I said, because I told people publicly,
Right.
I didn't say what it was going to be, but I said, I'm going to take care of my health. And
Yeah.
I said, I have no problem with you telling me if I don't do it, hold me
Yeah.
accountable because it's my life and, it's my life.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was important to say, I'm going to do it. I just wish I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah.
And so I'm spending a lot of time now telling people that was in my previous job, but other kinds of jobs, the time's right now. Don't wait. And, yeah.
Now, has anybody come up to you since in that 6 month period and asked you?
Well, no one's called me a liar because I got better, but no, people would make comments.
Yeah.
I mean, they could tell.
They can tell.
Yeah, they could tell. A lot of times they'll say, "Oh, you just look like stress." Well, a lot of it just wasn't stress. It was how you carry your body when you're working like that. And you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So, I've had a number of comments. I'm not like this. Like people watching this saw before and after, they would go, "Well, it's not like night and day difference."
Right.
But the people who know me and know how you walk, act, carry yourself, they can see the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter saw the difference, and she'd been gone for like a couple months, and she saw the difference in 2 months. Because you have these little times, where all of a sudden a lot changes in a short period of time, then nothing happens for a while,
Yep.
or at least looks like nothing happens. And so, both my kids have made comments, which makes me feel good. And to be a good example to them, because part of this is representing this for your own kids and your spouse. And, so anyway, it's good. Yeah.
Proud of you. You've worked your butt off
Well,
for
thank
these
you.
last 8 or 9 months, and there's still more.
Well,
You're
one last
good.
thing. This is about you. Is that a lot of what y'all do? I should have touched this on this earlier. Like what we're strong are the people that train you, right? It's not just a thing; it's people. And so, what you've done for me personally and pushed me, challenged me, has made a huge difference in my life, which I'm really thankful for. And I know you have a concerted. You make concerted effort to really meet my needs as an individual, not somebody else that's some kind of stereotypical 57-year-old now, but me. And I appreciate that. And anybody watching this, I mean, my own family, I've kind of convinced them. My wife's become a client as well, and my daughter for the summer. And part of it is they were kind of sold with what was happening in my own life. If they didn't see anything in my life, would they go do it? No.
Exactly.
Right. But that was because of you, because they're like, okay, we gotta go see Matt. So your name comes up too often in the house. Well, Matt said. So,
I'm glad it's in a positive way, not a negative.
oh, it's always positive.
Always
Matt.
Good.
Unless you hurt us. And then it's not so positive. But
Try
anyway.
not to.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, we're gonna go work out.